understanding your truth. Every voice matters, yeah, we see you. Love who you are, let the world know. This is your moment, let your light glow. More than a story, more than a name. We break the silence, rewrite the frame. Autism, neurodivergence, every mind shines bright. Mental health, self-love, stepping into the light. For the parents, the dreamers, the ones who push through. Auesomely you, we celebrate you. Oh, 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 oh. Auesomely you, we rise, we shine. Vowing voices, breaking the lines. This ain't just a podcast, this is a move. Celebrating every story, making room. For the ones who speak in ways they don't understand. For the hearts that love big, for the ones who take a stand. For the ones who see the world in a different way. We amplify your voice, let the world hear what you say. Every challenge, every win, every step you take. You are seen, you are loved, this is your space. No more silence, no more fear. Auesomely you, we're standing here. We are the voices, we are the change.
Hey, you guys, welcome to Auesomely You podcast, hosted by me, Crystal Jordan. Hope you're ready for today's episode as we step into another mom story for 30 minutes. Y'all know my spiel. For 30 minutes, I want you guys to sit in your shoes, listen to her story, and see how you can include inclusion into your life or your community today. So who are we interviewing today? Today we're interviewing Marci Chong. She is a family blogger who lives in Seattle with her husband and has 2 boys. Of 3 of them are neurodiverse. She is passionate by helping families travel. And I don't know about you, I like to travel. Do you like to travel? Let's get right into it. Hi.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me.
No, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And I'm super excited to dive into this conversation and talk about traveling while having kids on the spectrum and neurodiverse individuals, because this is a topic that is very important, that's really overlooked in our community. So I want you to tell us your story and dive right.
Yeah, you bet. So my name is Marci, and I do live in Seattle. And when my kids were little, I started a family travel blog because people were asking me a lot of questions about how I travel with my kids. And this is before I knew that they were neurodiverse. They were just, babies and toddlers and all of the stuff that goes into that. And so I started a blog called Marci and Mommyland, just kind of giving families tips and tricks on how to do it. And then later on, during the pandemic, that's when both of my kids and my husband were diagnosed. And it changed things a lot because I'm not neurodiverse. And so I do things a certain way, and I had a lot of expectations, I think, on my family. And so once we kind of found out, I've had to, I think, redefine what our family vacations look like and making sure that I'm taking everybody's needs into consideration. And I have been talking a little bit more about that in my blog, just to help other families, because I realized so many families out there are having the same, I guess, hesitation when it comes to traveling with their kids who are neurodiverse. They aren't sure what to do to make things run smoothly. And so I've been trying to gather more information and tell my story a little bit more, hopefully to encourage other families to get out there and travel more.
What I love about what you said is you, during COVID, you went through this change, and you remind me of me. What you did was you embrace the change, and you started to find ways to navigate and travel, and now you're advocating for travel within our community. That is beautiful. So my question, with you starting that in 2020, what was the biggest challenge you had with trying to travel with neurodiverse individuals?
Yeah, so I think the hardest thing was we used to do a lot of theme parks. I mean, we still do theme parks, but I learned about like the disability access passes or ways to kind of minimize the physical waiting in lines, and that helped a lot for our family because I didn't realize what a struggle it was for our family compared to other families. I kind of wasn't sure what was just kids being kids, or when my kids like literally couldn't stand in the line without, I don't want to say bothering everybody around them, but that's kind of how it felt, where it was like very disruptive and very difficult. And so once I learned about those, it made our theme park trips go a lot smoother. And then also just realizing that I needed to pack a little bit differently for trips. So making sure we had lots of fidgets, lots of snacks, of course, and involving the kids a little bit more in the planning stages to make sure that it was activities and things that they were really interested in. And then what I would do is I just kind of plan the maybe like the morning time, and then have a bunch of options for the afternoon. And one of those options could be we need to, sit at a cafe and do iPad for a little bit so they could just zone out and then they could refocus on what we were doing. Or maybe it was taking a little rest in a hotel, or something like that, but just kind of involving them a lot more just to make sure that their needs were being met, and that that I was listening to their opinions on how they thought the trip should go.
I love that you made sure that their voices were still heard through this whole process. Because sometimes, I mean, I have met so many people who feel that that the people on the spectrum or neurodiverse individuals don't have a voice, and they need to be seen, heard. So I love that you making sure your kids are heard. Can you, for somebody who's new to this, who don't know about the passes at Disney or Six Flags, I know about them, but
Mhm.
can you break that down for somebody who's tuning in? There, I want you to imagine that this mom and dad or caregiver is new to this industry and they know nothing. So I want you to just
Absolutely.
step into that.
Absolutely. Well, most theme parks have some sort of disability access pass. And I know at Disney it has changed recently and people are getting mixed results. But in theory, you're supposed to be able to meet up with a cast member, usually online before your trip. And you explain the difficulties that either you or your spouse or your child or whoever you're traveling with, what kind of why standing in line would be a struggle for them. In the past, they didn't want you to say any diagnosis or anything. Now it's sounding like maybe that is what they're looking for. It's hard to know. And my understanding is if you get denied for being neurodivergent, just keep trying and find a different cast member, because the whole system for Disney is really set up for people on the spectrum. That's what they're saying is the difficulty for people staying in waiting in line. So really, you have to just try for that. But you can also, like at Legoland, that one I think has been the easiest. You just literally walk up to guest services and you say, "Hey, can we get a disability pass? My kid is on the spectrum," and they just will hand it to you, like no questions asked, or at least that's been our experience in the past. And then Universal Studios, they also have a pass that minimizes the wait time, and that's been great. I haven't done Six Flags yet, so I can't speak from personal experience on that. I think those are kind of the main theme parks, though. So yeah, and you can find lots of blog posts online where people are telling about their experiences too.
Well, I can touch on the Six Flags one. The Six Flags one is kind of like Disney, but it was Six Flags. You have to pre-plan that. You can't come to the park and do that. You have to go on their website, and then when you go on their website, you have to fill out paperwork, and you have to upload documentation. I'm not sure if they changed it. I haven't been to Six Flags in about a year or two, but you have to upload documentation showing that the diagnosis, and then it is approved. It is approved for 2 years, I believe. It's a 2 year documentation, and you can use that to skip the lines. For me, it has worked wonders because my son loved it So it was a great experience from that point. But we haven't been in 2 years. So I'm not sure if they updated it since, but you had to update. You had to upload documentation. It wasn't you just telling your kid is autistic and you just get a pass. It wasn't that way. It wasn't as simple, which was fine with me because I preferred it that way because I don't want other people who who don't have that taking privileges away from people on the spectrum
Mm-hmm.
who actually really need it. And I feel like with Disney, a lot of times, I feel like the changes are because it was abused. It was abused
Absolutely.
by people who are, we're about to be real. It was abused by people who are entitled and who feels that they can just get away with so many things without understanding the repercussions for somebody who may be on a spectrum, somebody who is neurodiverse, somebody with a disability. You're taking a right from somebody who needs it and deserve it, and you are being an entitled individual, and now you're making it difficult for parents who actually want to take their kids out to have a good time. But I that I'm gonna stop there because I can get really real when it comes to this topic. But yeah, so my
I also
next,
have strong feelings on that, so I understand.
you saw I was about to go off right, and I said, wait,
Yep.
I gotta reel it back in. But yeah, I heard about the changes, and it saddens me because people are so entitled, and I'm like, even though I'm self-diagnosed autistic, if I was going to Disney by myself, I would not get the disability pass for myself. I would not.
Yeah.
But if I was to go with my child, I have paperwork for, I would
Yeah.
get the pass. And the crazy thing is, I know for a fact I'm autistic. My son and me are so similar. I'm just the
Mm-hmm.
girl version. It's
Yeah.
just as an adult to get tested, the amount of money it costs. I already got my closure. The paperwork was just to prove to others, and I'm not there in that space. So yes, I feel some type of way about Disney changing their policies, which I understand why, but yeah, it really upsets me. Um, I know Marcy's like Crystal's funny, but my next question is: what is 5 tips that you can give a caregiver, a parent who is planning their first travel trip with their kiddos?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'll count these out. The first tip would be to talk to your child, no matter how old they are. Talk to your child, even if they are a toddler or a preschooler. Um, I remember when my oldest was 3, we were getting ready to go to Paris, and I gave him a guidebook with a bunch of photos in it. And I said, okay, flip through this and tell me the things that you're most excited about. And he picked doing those little toy boats at the Jardin du Luxembourg. And that is still one of his highlights. He's now 11 years old. He still can tell me about that experience because it was the one thing he wanted to do, and we made sure we did it. So just involve your kids in the process, and that can be watching YouTube videos, that can be looking at physical books, it can be kind of just anything, showing them photos, but involve them in the process, I think. Number 2 would be to create a realistic itinerary. So maybe you can travel nonstop from 7 in the morning until 9 at night, but chances are your child probably cannot. And so maybe write out everything that you want to do and then pick out maybe like a third of it that are the must do's and just focus on those and just let everything else be bonus stuff. If you end up having time or you end up having interest, do that. Third tip would be to take advantage of tours when they're available. I don't know about any of your guys' kids, but my kids ask a lot of questions every time we travel. And it's really helpful if there is somebody else to answer them, somebody who knows what they're talking about. Otherwise, I'm going to spend my whole time on the phone looking up the answers to their questions about when was this castle built or how many people have done whatever. It's so much easier if there is an expert there who can not only answer their questions, but also engage them in other ways and have fun facts and things that make the experience a little bit more rich and full. I think that's really helpful. Fourth tip I would say is probably, if this is your first time, um, make it a semi short trip. Like, don't be gone for 2 weeks. Maybe try like a weekend somewhere, just so you can kind of see how your kids react to being in a new environment. Maybe the travel, whether you're traveling by car or airplane, kind of just all of that. It can be really overwhelming. And so, if you can tell yourself, oh, this is just for 2 or 3 days, it's a lot easier to, I think, mentally handle it. And gosh, number five would be to, I mean, probably pack more than you think you're going to need. So, like for my kids, I know they really like fidgets for when they're in the hotel room or when they're on an airplane. So, I pack tons of fidgets, which is something I wouldn't have done before. Each one of them has their own little snack bag with a bunch of snacks that sometimes they don't normally eat at home, but it's all foods that I know that they'll like and that they will eat in case they won't eat airplane food or things when we're out and about. I know that there's guaranteed food that they will eat. And then if they're particular about anything. So my youngest is really particular about all of his clothing. It needs to be super soft. They can't have tags in them, things like that. And so just making sure that you have lots of that and, extra outfits and things in case, things get spilled on him. So I think those would be my 5 tips.
My favorite one is the overpack. I overpack when it's time for me and my son. I live in Atlanta, so we have Six Flags. So when it's time for us to go to like Six Flags or we went out of town or anything, going to the beach, I pack so much stuff. You'll be like, how long y'all going?
Yeah.
I pack extra clothes. I pack so much snacks. And he barely eats it all, but I make sure. And Savannah's a 4 hour drive. So I'm like, I got to pack. So I felt that. I want to get into another segment of the traveling part. Have you traveled on a plane with your kids since their diagnosis?
Oh yeah, tons of times. I mean, as a travel blogger, we travel a lot.
So can you touch base on TSA
Hmm.
and the blue card? But you know what I'm talking about, correct?
No, we don't use the blue card.
But you know what I'm talking about with the TSA,
I
correct?
know. Yeah, I know what you're
Can you
talking
touch?
about.
Okay, can you touch base on that?
I can. We don't have any personal experience with it because our family, we have the TSA pre-check and clear, and so the way that we do TSA is super fast, and we're just through there really quickly. But you can do the blue card, and it just alerts the TSA people that you or your child is autistic. And my understanding is that they give you a little bit more grace, and it makes the process a little bit simpler. What has your experience been, or what do you know about it?
So I have not took my son on the plane yet because my goal is to take him in Atlanta. They have this thing where you can get on the Delta plane and it takes you like 60 or 70,000 feet in the air. And I want to see how he acts. But every time they have they call it, there's the stimulator, I believe, I can't remember. Every time they have it, it's sold out. It's free. It's sold out. So
Oh,
yeah, so I have not done the
yeah.
plane yet. I'm waiting until we do that step. I need to see how he will react on the plane, um, based on that. So I haven't done it. I know about it, but to answer my question is a blue card. You call 3 days prior, and TSA wants a agent will be waiting on you. They have your name. You meet them. Once you meet that agent, it's just like pre-check, but it's for special needs. So it's pretty much the same thing. So it just one you have to y'all think you pay for it, and the other one is a right because you have
Nice.
your special needs. But I haven't done it yet because I'm waiting to get him on the Delta plane and see how that goes. So I haven't done it yet because the road trip he does great. The longest we have done is like 14 hours
Wow.
on the road, and he did pretty good. Along he had his tablet and his snacks. That's
Hmm.
all he cared about. Those two things. He don't use the bathroom on the road. don't ask me. He don't use the bathroom on the road. So
Yeah.
when we stop, it's a no. So his
Yeah.
pull
That's how my
ups.
youngest is. Yeah.
He won't do it, and I'm like, that is
Yeah.
so weird. When we drove to Savannah, it took me. I told you it took 4 hours. But
Mhm.
for us, it took 5.
Yeah.
He did not pee.
Yeah.
I had bleach, and I bleached the bathroom down. It was a
Yeah.
no. But when
Yeah.
we got to the hotel, he peed, which is
Yeah.
very weird. But yeah,
My
that's
my
how it is
youngest is
travel.
exactly the same. Exactly the same. He won't pee on an airplane. He will do it at the airport though. But same thing with road trips. He will not any bathroom that he doesn't feel comfortable in. But as soon as we get to the hotel, that's the first thing he does. So I understand.
Yes, and I remember him, my son therapist saying he waited 5 hours to pee. I said he waited 5 hours to pee.
Yeah.
I said yes, he did, and the
Yeah.
pull up was not even that wet, so he really
Yeah.
waited.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know when we was driving. He was like, no, because it was just me and him in the
Yeah.
car. So
Yeah.
he's hilarious. I don't think I understand how funny my son is. Like
Yeah.
I can't hold my pee that long. I'm sorry. Maybe because
No.
I'm older. Because now
Yeah, that could be.
I'm like no, I have to pee.
Yeah.
So I ask this question to every guest because I love this question, but it embodies everything. And the question is, what does celebrating uniqueness means to you, and how has it shaped your life?
That's a great question. I think in our family, we we use the term weird, which probably isn't good, but we're like normal is boring, like weird is interesting. And so we kind of just have that something that we bring up a lot. And so I think celebrating uniqueness is just highlighting what makes each person what they bring to this world, right? Like whether it's an interesting background, interesting I want to say like overcoming something or just a quirky personality. I think that it's important to embrace it and understand that not everyone is the same because it would be boring if everyone was the same.
I agree. It would be very boring if everyone was the same. And I love that you said that because I think sometimes people get so caught up in society and they try to copycat the next person, like their life, their business, anything, versus just being different. So I really love that you said that. So I'm gonna get into our fun segment because I love having fun with guests. And this one is awfully fun, keeping it real segment. So I'm gonna do with you fill in the blank. If you had a billboard, what would it say? If your life had a message, what would it be?
Oh gosh, I think in these times that we're in, my billboard would probably not be appropriate for this show. So I would probably oh I'm trying to really think about this. Um Gosh, I mean, it would probably need to be something uplifting and positive. I feel like that's what I want to put out in the world is something empowering, something that is bring more good and some light into the world.
So what would
Um,
it say?
I know that is so hard. I feel like I need Chat GPT to help me if I can just put all my ideas in and see what kind of cute thing it could pop out. But gosh, maybe something that I'd always heard, like when I had babies, was comparison is the thief of joy, and it's something that like has always stuck with me. And so I think I would probably put that up there because it's like we were saying, it's so easy to compare yourself to somebody else or try to emulate their lifestyle or their business or whatever. And I think
Hmm.
it's really important to just you do you and don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Like that will take away from your joy. Just focus on what you're doing.
I love that because number one, comparison is the thief of joy. It took me a long time to learn that. It took me some years to learn that Even like when I used to compare myself to others all the time, I didn't realize I was still in my own joy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't do it. I love what you're doing, but I'm not going to compare my life to you because I'm not meant to be there. God has me where I'm supposed to be right now. So that's how I look at it. All right. So then I'm going to give you another one that's going to be more fun. 3 things that make you feel awesome. A quick list, no explanations, just pure joy. Ready, set, go.
Oh gosh, I think binge watching British murder mystery shows brings me a lot of joy. I don't know why. I think it's when they're quirky and it doesn't feel too realistic to me. I can enjoy it. I think eating my favorite chips. I'm all about those all dressed potato chips from Lay's that you used to only be able to get in Canada, but now they're everywhere here currently. So I've been buying bags like nobody's business. And I think getting together with friends and like having those belly laughs that you just kind of don't get in everyday life. I think that those are probably my 3 awesome moments in life.
I was over here laughing at you about the chips because you said I've been buying them like nobody's business.
Yeah.
That's how I am about this donut shop. I go there once a month, and when I can make it, I'm like, give me 4, give me
Yeah.
6, and they be
Yeah.
like, I've been like, and you know what's so funny? I bought 6 donuts today. I can only eat 2. They're so sweet. I can't eat no
Yeah.
more. So I gave them to my dad.
Yeah.
I was
But it's
like,
like you just want them. You just want to make sure you have them in
my
case.
brain wanted it, but my
Yes.
my body said no.
No.
It was like, Crystal, you tried it. All right. And the last fun question is awesome confessions. What is something you used to believe about yourself that you know now isn't true?
Oh, that is a great question. Um Gosh. I want to say that I used to think that I was like really shy, but I don't really think that that's the case. Like, I think that I'm definitely more introverted, and I think that is different than being shy. So I'd always grown up where people had told me I think that I was shy, but really, I think I just need a lot of time by myself and to recharge. And it's not me being antisocial or afraid to talk to new people. It's just knowing that I need to balance that out with some self care.
I'm happy you brought that up because self care is when it between you and I believe self care is super important. But I feel like it's really important when you are a mom, and especially a mom of a special needs child, because we don't pour into ourselves enough. We don't take care of ourselves enough. We focus more on our babies versus ourselves. Like me, I just got my hair done, and it's been 80 long days, and I didn't even realize it
Yeah.
until my my hairstylist got on me, and I said, "Dang, it's been 80 days, sis." She said, "Yes." I said,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
okay." And I realized I preach about moms self loving themselves. It's internal and it's out and it's also the outer as well. I focus more on the internal versus the outer. So, cheers to your self care. Like that is like super important that we continue to do that as moms. So, before I get to the final question, I want you to share where my audience can find you, and if you have anything else that you want to tell us about yourself, any offers, please go ahead and tell us.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, you can find me. My website is marciinmommyland.com. And I'm also on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook, all at Marci and Mommyland. And then I actually just started a new podcast called Hawaii Travel Made Easy. I've been to Hawaii more than 40 times. It's where my mom lives. My kids go all the time. And I started a podcast in order to help make the planning process easier for everybody, not just families. It can be solo travelers, couples, honeymooners, multi-gen, all of that. So I did start that podcast. So that's available as well.
I love that you did that because sorry, I'm about to sneeze. I want to go to Hawaii so bad. That's my mama dreams trip is Hawaii.
Mm,
That's her. That's She's been talking about Hawaii for 35. I want to say at least the last 5 years. She's been talking
yeah,
about Hawaii, probably longer.
yeah.
So
It's amazing. I can help you.
okay, I have to remember that because that's something that's really one thing she wants to do. So congrats on your new podcast. Congrats on everything you're starting. And most importantly, I thank you for having your blog to help educate and help parents and caregivers navigate how to travel with our kiddos and our family members. But I know you remember I to ask you earlier before we wrap up, you have to share one affirmation that our listeners can take away from today's episode, today's conversation, and something that can remind them to embrace their uniqueness. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. If you need help, I will come back and redirect your affirmation, but I think you got this.
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind is you do you. I know my husband always thinks that's like a negative thing, like a you do you, but I'm like, I take it as a much more positive thing. Like, you're the only person out there who is just like you. Just keep being you. Do yourself. Like, do the things that you need to do in order to have a happy and healthy and safe life. So I think that's what it would be. Like you do you.
And I have nothing against the affirmation because like so you guys say it with us. You do you, or say I do me.
Yeah.
Say I do me. That you can do you in work, you can do yourself walking, you can do yourself starting a podcast, you can do whatever is your calling and you want to do you. That is her message for you guys. But I want to say thank you for letting me interview you. Thank you for letting me take a walk in your shoes for 30 minutes. I really, truly appreciate having the opportunity to interview you. Thank you for letting me be on, like letting you like be on my podcast. Like it means the world to me because like I told you earlier, I'm just coming back into being a podcaster. So thank you so much. But to my awesome tribe, if you like her, like I say in every episode, please like, comment, subscribe. I want you guys to support her business. I want you guys to go to her blog. I want you guys to comment on her blog. And I want you to follow her as well. Can you tell them your Instagram one more time?
Yep. It's at Marci in Mommyland.
So you guys are going to see her amazing blogs. Go to her Instagram and follow her. With that being stated, you guys, we're out. Bye.
We rise, we shine, bowing voices, breaking the lines. This ain't just a podcast, this is a move. Celebrating every story, making room. For the ones who speak in ways they don't understand. For the hearts that love big. For the ones who take a stand. For the ones who see the world in a different way. We amplify your voice. Let the world hear what you say. Every challenge, every win, every step you take. You are seen, you are loved. This is your